Right now, I'm basically watching one of my favorite Japanese YouTubers, and he shoots a lot of these fashion type of videos, and I like his style. And he's using a Ronin gimbal. I actually use a Moza gimbal. He's using a Ronin RSC2 with Sony cameras, and it's nice to see different. One of the cool things about watching other YouTubers and their work is how they frame the shots, and of course how they do their autofocusing, how they, what lens do they use. And it's kind of interesting, especially when you are somebody new and you just don't know how to do these things. It's nice to see the results, a professional result from people who have been doing this kind of video and editing and stuff like that for many, many years. So he's using the Sony A7S with a Selma 35 f1 lens, which is really wicked. Expensive stuff, of course, but it's really wicked. And he also talks about the settings that he has on his camera, which is kind of nice to learn the little things, the subtle little things that come from experience. And that's the one that you try to mimic or emulate a little bit, so that way when you are shooting, you kind of know how to frame your shot. And when you do filmmaking, of course, you do quite a lot of takes. I was watching this video, and the guy was mentioning that he actually does close to 70 takes on a scene. 70 takes on one single scene. I'm like, wow, that is really, really heavy. And I understand why. So that way, see, when you're shooting, you try to shoot as much as you can. And then when you come and sit in your editing table, your editing setup, you have more material to work with. I mean, that's the idea. So I understand. Like I normally do this one or two takes maximum, and then maybe not even two takes. Maybe that's why a lot of my videos are very simple. But these guys are like making 10, 20, 30 takes, and then when they sit down in the editing bay and they turn on their editing software, they line up all the takes, and then they really mix it up very nicely, which is really cool. I was watching one of my favorite bands is Eddie Van Halen, and Sammy Hagar doing an interview was mentioning that for Eddie Van Halen, like, you must remember that when they go to the studio and they do all these different guitar riffs, they do so many takes, and then the producers will actually mix the takes up just to make the one that is the most perfect for the song. And then, of course, Eddie Van Halen, the guitarist, whose guitar playing is being recorded, has a very hard time, because now he has to learn the parts so that when they play live, he can actually replay what he performed.